From the heart of Sacramento, where the crown stays on and the lights go off, this is the Sac Blackout Podcast. No filters, no limits, just straight raw talk. We're bringing you everything sports, music, culture, and the real conversations they don't want you to have. So when the lights go out, you already know what time it is. Sac Blackout Podcast. What's up, Raider Nation? We are back at it like a crack addict here on the Sac Blackout Podcast. I'm your host, Izzy Lopez, and the Vice President of the Black Hole Sacramento chapter, along with host Raider Chavez and the President of the Sacramento chapter, the Black Hole. And then we got our most infamous man on the bottom right there, Wyatt Redding, holding it down like four flat tires when it comes to the fourth down. We're going to be talking about some things going on in the training camp. We're going to be bringing up who actually was expected to make noise. Maybe we even get surprised over some of the players that are making noise, and probably even talk about a little bit of a disappointment of somebody who's not, meeting the expectations. But with that being said, guys, what's been going on? What have you guys been hearing that's been jumping out to you? Chavez, we'll start with you.
One thing that's been jumping out to me is they're saying that Brock Bowers has been unstoppable right now. Nobody's been able to guard him. He's been open, catching ball, everything coming his way. I think the first couple of days of camp, I don't think him and Cousins even had an incompletion, but he's been blowing it up. And I'm also, been hearing a lot about Malik Benson out of wide receiver. I've been hearing him making some noise out there, making catches that people weren't expecting, and he's getting a lot of run at kick return and punt return as well. What have you been hearing about training camp, Wyatt?
Yeah, no, just to build off what you just brought up, I think Malik Benson has been one of the biggest highlights so far, in training camp and, in the lead up to the preseason. And I think it's interesting that Malik Benson is the one wide receiver in the draft that, Kubiak handpicked himself. So I think that Benson, people are definitely sleeping on him coming into the season. I think he's, starting to turn some heads out there, showing off his elite speed. He'll be, useful on special teams and maybe even start getting some of those, first team reps like he's been getting so far and, lead to some playing time.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, because what you guys are talking about, how his speed and everything, that is something that I was actually asking at the beginning of the season, in regards to how the Raiders are going to be able to play the field. Are they going to be able to stretch it, with these wide receivers that they picked up, or are they going to be able to control the game with the running? But, it just seems like with Malik Benson out there doing what he's doing and the speed that he has, stretching the field doesn't seem very far-fetched in this whole idea coming at it.
Yeah, I definitely could see him if he keeps doing this and he has a really good preseason. I can definitely see him getting run at that third wide receiver spot.
And I'm glad. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask you, if Benson keeps stacking practices like the way that he's doing, whose roster spot do you think is going to be in danger?
Go ahead, Wyatt.
Yeah, I think the one certain factor that we do have in the wide receiver room is Jalen Nailor. I think that Nailor is, regardless of what's going to happen, I think he's the most talented receiver in that group. And then you have, Trey Tucker as well. I've heard there's been a little bit of disconnect with him on one play. He dropped in an open screen pass, which is something that Clint Kubiak, he's not the type of coach that's going to let that small stuff slide. Like he wants to, have his system working on all cylinders and get the easy stuff down. But looking at his track record, I do expect Trey Tucker as well to get meaningful amount of snaps. So I think then it kind of comes down to, the two rookies from last year, Thornton and Besh. And then if Benson starts, stepping up his game and evolving, showing what he can do in the NFL, I think, anybody other than Nailor, I think that Benson could be coming for their playing time. And it's just a matter of who can, create get the easy plays under their belts and as well as showcase their speed on the football field.
Yeah, I think I think Besh is safe just because even though he's been kind of underwhelming, you're not hearing his name a lot this training camp. I think he's safe just because he was a high pick last year. But I really think if Benson performs and again has a good preseason, I think Dante Thornton Jr. could be out of a job this year because Benson might come in and play the role they were hoping Thornton could, and he's disappeared. It seems like ever since last year when they did the joint practices with the San Francisco 49ers, Dante Thornton has really kind of just gone away. He was making noise for a while. He did have an important catch in the New England game, and then you really just never heard his name again. So if Benson keeps doing what he's doing, I can definitely see Thornton losing his job on this roster.
That's saying a lot right there too, because what we pick up Benson in like the fourth or fifth round.
I think it was 6th round.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, 6 rounds. Like, yeah. So, and that's right now that's big news out there because it's something that's unheard of to get a wide receiver that talented out in the 6th round. It's amazing the way the players that we ended up picking up in this whole draft in the areas that we picked them up. It's like, oh my God, we are definitely making a big impact, not only on the field, but I mean, just in the fact that we're able to create a positive buzz with the players that we're being able to pick. I mean, look at Benson is stepping up the way that he is, and that couldn't have been a better pickup as far as wide receivers go in that aspect. So with Benson coming in as a number 3 wide receiver, Travis, like, what would be a successful rookie season for him? I mean, does he need to get more than 500 yards?
Well, I don't think he's the number 3 yet, but I think a successful season. I think he's gonna be kick and punt return most likely. He's gonna make his noise there, and then he'll start getting his chances on offense. And if he rolls with it, then you're gonna start seeing them throw the ball to him more. 500 yards isn't hard to think of. I mean, I wouldn't go out and say, oh, a successful season's him going out and getting 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. I'm not expecting that from him, but to go out there and be a deep threat, that would help a lot. Yeah, that'll give us a lot of speed with Naylor and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, with the wide receivers we already have, and hopefully they'll take Trey Tucker. Sorry, I don't know why I drew a blank there, but hopefully with that, if these guys can get open and stretch the field, they won't be able to double Brock Bowers, and you'll have him open middle of the field all day long.
Now, the reports have said that Clint Kubiak has praised Benson early with his early progress, his mindset, while emphasizing that the rookie still has to keep proving himself every single day. Now, Wyatt, saying something like, okay, having to prove, are we really going to expect Kubiak at any point to just say, you know what, like actually how he's said about Kirk Cousins, like just be solid about a player and just say, hey, you know what, this is the guy, he is going to be that person. Do you think we'll ever get like that straight kind of forward, just talk about it, instead of just saying, oh yeah, he's great, but he still has a lot to learn? Because it sort of leaves a little kind of vague kind of feeling about that. Do you think we'll ever get something like that out of Kubiak, one of these players?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Clint Kubiak, he's a coach that likes to hold his players accountable, as well as vice versa. I'm sure he, receives constructive criticism from the guys, on the field and in the locker room. And I think that's kind of the relationship you need to have as a coach. You need to be personable like that. Like that's something where reports came out where Josh McDaniel as well. Yeah, he had, a very nice offensive play calling sheet or whatever. Like he wasn't a personable coach according to reports. So when you're not personable, it's hard to be a successful NFL coach in this league. So I definitely think it's important for Kubiak to be kind of, especially with the quarterbacks as well. I mean, being able to have a good repertoire with them, let alone the other players in the offense as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of other players that are just mentioning good things about him. So yeah, I like exactly what you're saying about all that. And Brock Bowers, like now, Travis, how you were bringing up Brock Bowers to be able to open it up for him. I mean, he's already doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. I mean, and everything that's going on, not only with the OTAs, but especially with the training camp now, it's that he is just a machine. He's unstoppable. The man is making crazy catches. There was something in the reports that at one point they were wondering what was going on, how he even caught a ball that was thrown to him by Kirk Cousins, but that his versatility and his ability to get in and catch the ball is just out of this world. Like, he is definitely going to be making a huge impact, which I actually thought that Ashton Genty would most likely benefit just because of the offensive line, and with having Brock Bowers out there. I thought that he would be able to be the most beneficial one, but now it just seems like the way that Bowers is playing and what he's doing in training camp, it seems that he is he is going to take over. He's going to continue. Yeah, he's continuing to be the number one centerpiece, as they were talking about.
And he should be. I mean, this dude's a beast. I really think, from everything we're hearing in camp right now about Bowers, if he stays healthy, I could see him having a career year and breaking some records out there as a tight end this year. I mean, I think this guy's going to be that good. And, a couple weekends ago when we were at that event in the Bay Area, you and I got to talk to his parents a little bit out there.
Yeah.
They were promoting their wine, and I told his dad straight up, I just said that he is, as long as he stays healthy and everything, that he's going to wear a gold jacket one day. I just hope he's still in a Raiders uniform when it happens.
Yeah. So yeah, that was actually pretty dope, man. Being out there, being able to have his parents come out. I mean, that's cool. I like that. I actually do dig that, to be able to get. I mean, it's cool to have a former player to be able to show up and stuff like that. Retired, enjoying life, but then still being able to reflect and being a Raider. But when you got an active player's parents being able to come out and show the love that they did, be able to help with an organization to raise money for something really good, it's awesome. I thought it was pretty cool.
And his dad couldn't say too much about it, but he did say that they are excited about this coaching staff. They do like what's going on there right now.
Wyatt, a question about Bowers. Do you think that Bowers has a chance to lead the Raiders in receptions again this year with the Kubiak system?
Oh, I think Bowers is the overwhelming favorite to lead the Raiders in receptions. And in fact, this might be a crazy take, but I actually think he could, challenge the entire NFL in leading pass catchers and receptions, because he is going to be the JSN of this offense. I'm not saying he's, the same exact type of player, but what Clint Kubiak has shown in his past is that he likes to utilize his best player and get them the ball as much as possible. When he's with the Vikings, Justin Jefferson had some of his best seasons. And, when he was an offensive play caller there, with the Seahawks, same thing with the Saints, it was Olave. So I think that Bowers, although he's listed as a tight end on paper, he's going to be getting a lot of different looks on the formation, different types of routes, similar to kind of what a receiver would get. He's going to be in the slot here and there, traditionally in line as a tight end, as well as maybe even some X receiver looks.
Right.
He's going to be all over the field due to his immense talent. And if he stays healthy, he will lead the Raiders in receptions. And I think it's just a matter of health, like Raider Chavez said.
How do you feel about that, Chavez?
Yeah, I mean, he should be the focal point of that offense when they're not running the ball. The run game's going to be number one, but when they're not running the ball, that's the number one target, regardless. I mean, I know everybody wants to talk about our wide receivers, but look how KC did it for years without a top number one wide receiver. They won Super Bowls. They just had Mahomes was good enough. Kelsey was always open, and they found ways to win games. So you get a guy that I think is even going to be even better than Kelsey ever was. That's your focal point. You go, and like Wyatt said, he could play X. Doesn't have to line up as a tight end all the time. This guy's got speed, power. He's got it all.
Yeah, they were talking about even getting him out into like a wide receiver routes out there because of just how big and fast the dude really is. Um, what do you guys think that this means? And Chavez, I'll start with you on it. Like, what do you think it means for Michael Mayer though? I mean, is he still good, a still good backup to be able to have out there for him, or do you think that they'll
Ab-
be able to play both of them?
Absolutely, you have to. You need to have two good tight ends in this league. So
Mhm.
Mayer will get his. He's a good blocker as well. And don't forget our fullback too. Our fullback, who's slash a tight end as well. He has
Mhm.
really good hands, and he actually catches the ball really well out of the backfield too. So it's like having another tight end on the field and passing downs with our fullback too. So
What's his name? Connor Hayward, right? Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's his name. Yeah, Connor Hayward. That's what it is. And speaking of that, and then Wyatt, I'll actually go to you on this one. But have you guys heard about the recent signing of a tight end from is Chris? What is it? Chris Mayick? Chris Mayerick. He was actually picked up from signed from Miami, of all teams. Um, he was actually drafted in undrafted in 2019. He's 6'5", 261 pounds. He's played 27 games with 11 starts. And he's actually coming in. They're getting him not only as a tight end, but they're actually getting him in as a fullback as well. So what do you think about that? Why? What do you think about that addition?
I mean, I think it just kind of shows that Kubiak wants to get as many good blockers on this team as possible
Yeah.
because, like we were talking about, he does want to, pound the ground. He wants to run the ball as much as he can. And you can't do that without a surplus of good blockers. And because I do know that, Bowers, he's mainly going to be used as a receiving tight end. Mayer, well, he is a good blocker. I do think there's going to be a lot of two tight end sets where they're both running routes on the field. And then that kind of leaves, the tight end 3 is Ian Thomas. And so they kind of want to see a little bit of additional depth, I guess you could say, for like good blockers to help out with the run game.
What do you think about that, Chavez?
I mean, it's a smart move. You got to fill out your practice squad too once you bring your roster down. And if our fullback gets injured, you need to have someone that can come in and play that position. So got to try some guys out. We'll see if the guy, I doubt he'll make the team, but maybe if he's doing well enough, he'll make the practice squad when the time comes.
Oh, well, speaking of that, I mean, it's here's some other news. I don't know if you guys heard in regards to all that, but as far as the tight end goes, they waived Zach Kuntz as well. It said in corresponding moves, the Raiders have waived tight end Zach Kuntz, and then they go off and then they sign this guy. Is that more because you think that and Chavez, I'm asking you on this one, do you think that's more because he didn't step up or maybe adapt to the Kubiak system?
And probably just could have got hurt, could have just been not playing well, and they want to try somebody else out, see how they do. There's going to be a lot of this going on throughout camp.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but and like Wyatt was saying, man, I think that's actually a pretty good addition to be able to bring in this guy from Miami. I mean, also to help out because we only have just that one fullback. I mean, it's also good if he's going to be able to step up and be another fullback. Or it seems a lot of what they're doing is that they're getting a lot of versatile players to be able to not only just play one specific position, but to be able to be mobile and switch to different positions. Having this guy as a tight end, I mean, his numbers, I mean, are pretty decent. With 11 starts in 27 games. He was recorded having 10 receptions for 82 yards. 8.2. That's close enough to the first down. He played for let me see, 2 years at Temple, so his college years were pretty good. 25 starts, 23 receptions for 229 yards. So I mean, he is able to get out there, catch the ball, make some yards with an 8.2, yards per catch. I mean, that's good. That's close to the first down, and be able to get there, have Genty, get in there, or maybe even Mike Washington be able to get a couple of extra yards to get us that first down. And then if he's going to be a good blocker, obviously his blocking game is actually pretty good. Being in as a fullback, that gives Connor a little bit of rest in between them, because I was actually worried about that at one point, we only have one fullback. Is there anybody else that's going to be able to fill in that position? And it seems like the Raiders are going to be doing that here. Speaking of tight ends and, wide receivers and things like that, we got to go to the guys that are going to be throwing the ball to them. So who are we looking for? Chavez, are we going to go Mendoza, or do you think that Kirk Cousins has it locked down?
So I know I've said in the past podcasts that I have a sneaky suspicion that Mendoza is going to win the job, but the way I see things going right now, I really think Kirk Cousins is playing well out there. From what I hear, he's just throwing dimes to everybody. Hasn't really had too many bad games. I think him and Mendoza both only have like one interception so far in all these practices. But I think they really are committed on starting the season with Cousins and bringing Mendoza along slowly. But doesn't mean Mendoza hasn't been playing well. He's actually, from what I've been hearing, doing really well. I think Monday he kind of had a bad day, but bounced back the next day and did well. And so far in a week's worth of practices, Mendoza's only thrown one interception. So I'm hearing nothing but really good things from him. He's learning. He's learning from his mistakes.
Right.
And they said there's times he looks like a rookie, and other times you could tell why he was the number one pick. So
yeah.
I think everybody's really excited about Mendoza, but I do think they are going to bring him along slowly, and we will see, most likely, barring injury, Kirk Cousins starting against the Dolphins.
From what it sounds like. Why? What are your thoughts about that? Like, how do you view bringing in Mendoza in with where he's at right now as far as his performance is going?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Mendoza's development is definitely going like according to how the Raiders kind of expected it to go. But when they did bring in Kirk Cousins, it did kind of signal that due to his pedigree and his time working with Kubiak already knows his system.
Right.
It does make the most sense for him to start out the season as the Raiders starting quarterback. That's Cousins, due to the things I just mentioned. And I do think it's smart for Cousins to play. We'll see how the season unfolds, but roughly maybe like go the first 7 games, see what happens, and see where we're at like week 8 before we go into that gauntlet of the middle season. See where we're at in terms of record and how he looks on the field, as well as how Mendoza's development is going, which it does sound like it's going well. It sounds like he's looked really good in camp for the most part. And Mendoza is one of those guys where he's not a traditional college quarterback where he's kind of like a.
I just hope that if they end up trading him for something, that they get something good out of it and that he goes somewhere that, that he definitely would be needed. Arizona actually looks like a place that looks like they need a quarterback because they were showing some things going on out there.
He will get killed behind that offensive line in Arizona.
Oh, you're setting him up for failure. But hey, you know what? Wish the best for ALC. I think just because over the years, like his numbers actually have been pretty steady, and just he just had a bad few years, hasn't been able to have a steady system to be able to work with. Then he was still able to do something a little bit out there. I mean, he wasn't incredible.
And from all I'm hearing, he's having a good camp.
Yeah,
he's looked good out there too.
Yeah,
but he's not very mobile, so I wouldn't want to put him behind that line in Arizona.
Well, going back to and I brought this up before the this picture up here before, so I'm going to go back to the quarterback debuts for rookie quarterbacks that are drafted number 1 overall. There actually has been 41 total first round overall players or first round overall quarterbacks that have been picked, but only 31 of them have actually started game 1. And so, going back, Peyton Manning, as you can see right in there, Peyton Manning, when he started off, he ended up losing the game. And I remember asking the question of whether or not that a quarterback would have to have a successful opening season if they won, their first game. Well, there has only been, out of those 31, there's only been two quarterbacks that have started their debut games and as rookies and have won. That was David Carr back in 2002, and as of recent, Caleb Williams in 2024, when he beat the Tennessee Titans. So I mean, if you want to go back and look at statistics and history and the way things are going, I mean, it doesn't seem very well played that, you know, when you put your starting quarterback in there, your first overall quarterback in there, they don't necessarily always have a successful season or a successful start. Even with the exception of Cam Newton back in 2011, the dude came out in his first game and threw 422 yards with 18 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and he ended up throwing 2 touchdowns and had 1 interception in that whole game and rushed for a touchdown. So, you know, I haven't really been able to do the research on all of this, but I wanted to be able to go back and figure out like which one of these starting quarterbacks, you know, that were drafted first round overall, whether or not that if their success in their first year had anything to do not only with their development or if it had something to do with the coaching of that team. So that's something that I definitely want to look into, you know, going forward. But yeah, I mean, like I said, going back into the stats, I mean, how do you guys feel, you know, is this something that we could look at, you know, as far as like, you know, you know, with history going on, can history kind of repeat itself, or can he be able to be one of the two that can have a successful start?
Every quarterback's different, and every situation that these quarterbacks go into are different. Some are stronger to handle what's going to come at them than others are. But Mendoza seems like someone that's strong enough to handle, but every rookie's going to go through their rookie ups and downs in a season. I mean, if you look at Peyton Manning's rookie year, they were ready to chase him out of town already over there. And I would say after that, he had a pretty damn good career in the NFL. So they're going to have their ups and downs. I do think at some point this year, unless somehow, some way, Kirk Cousins has us winning a ton of games and we're looking at going to the playoffs, you got to get Mendoza in there to get some experience. These guys should play. They need some game time experience, and sitting on the bench isn't going to do it. So I say the only way Mendoza doesn't get some playing time this year is if Kirk Cousins just goes crazy and all of a sudden we hit December and we're in a playoff run. So
you don't think that we can go like, you know, be like 3 or 4 games over 500 at some point in the middle of the season, be like, hey, you know, let's just go on ahead and throw, you know, we're doing really good. Let's just throw in Mendoza in there for the hell of it. You know,
why
fine.
Why would you mess up that chemistry? If the team's winning and Cousins has us rolling, you don't stop that. You keep winning games. In the NFL, it's about winning games. And if that means Fernando Mendoza has to sit the whole season, then you do it. But obviously, if we get to a certain point and we're out of it, then yeah, you put Mendoza in. Or if we start the season and we just lay flat and it gets to week 4 and we're only won 1 game, then why not? Or once we get past October, I mean, there's certain points you can bring them in if the season doesn't look like it's going to go our way.
It didn't Aaron Rodgers? How long did Aaron Rodgers sit behind Brett Favre? How many? Didn't he?
I think it was.
Wasn't he behind Brett Favre?
Wasn't it? It was Brett Favre.
Yeah, it was a couple seasons, right? Yeah. Because Rodgers was supposed to be, you know, a decent quarterback. I'm not saying he was picked first round or everything like that overall, but I mean, as far as a quarterback being able to go in as a rookie or not playing with expectations, I mean, you had an Aaron Rodgers sit behind a Brett Favre, who arguably is probably one of the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. I mean, he was able to be, you know, successful. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl, you know. Took him a while to get it, but I mean, he got it.
So the Packers got lucky with Aaron Rodgers because he dropped so far in the draft that year, you know. So Packers were already a good team, and Aaron Rodgers fell to them, I believe, in the 20s somewhere that they were picking, and so they lucked out on that one.
Yeah,
I don't know that he would have sat that long if he would have been picked higher where he should have been picked.
Right. Well, at this time, I want to go on ahead and say what's up to the 5 folks that are in here watching us. Thank you so much for tuning in to the SAC Blackout podcast. Once again, I am the vice president of the Black Hole Sacramento chapter and the host. And then we got Raider Chavez, who is also the host and the president of the Black Hole Sacramento chapter. And then we got our main man, the top dog analyst, Wyatt Redding, down there holding it down like 4 flat tires. We got some other things I wanted to go on ahead and bring up too. I believe we got some things coming up. The home opener is going to be looking pretty good. We're going to be in full effect for that. And let me see if I got the pictures here for it. Real quick, let's talk about that. So there's Friday night Fandemonium, Fremont Street, right?
So Friday night will be the Fandemonium on Fremont Street. The Black Hole will be taking over. The video canopy that goes over Fremont Street will be all Black Hole related. The Front Street stage will be all Raider and Black Hole related entertainment. And yeah, Raider Nation's going to take over Fremont Street Friday night.
Yeah,
Saturday night, we will be at the Palms. We are taking over the pool area, and we will have Too Short and Warren G performing. If you still need tickets to that event, you can go to www.theblackhole.com and purchase your tickets there. And yeah, come hang out with Raider Nation, man. Last I heard, ticket sales are doing really well. I think the cabanas are just about sold out, which TBH Sacramento does have a cabana out there. So let's do it. And the pool will be open. So you wanna swim and watch a concert, then bring your bathing suit and jump in the water. So yeah, we'll have the stage, we'll have the pool, we'll have the cabanas, Woodson Whiskey, Modelo, and our new sponsor, Bandera Tequila. So,
ciao. Yeah, and then we'll bring that up again a little bit later on in the show, probably a little bit towards the end too, to remind you about our events coming up. Also, and then there's, hold on. All right, and then also there's the coming up, I want to let everybody know. Well, I'll let them know about that later on. We'll get into some other stuff. All right, so defense.
Wait. Before we go defense, because we were talking quarterbacks. One thing that's going to be the quarterback's best friend this year is the run game. We cannot forget about the running backs. Ashton Genty has looked like a beast out there. From what I'm hearing, his body type he's coming bigger, stronger. He looks explosive, and then we got Mike Washington backing him up, and I'm hearing nothing but good things about that guy, man. They're saying his speed to hit the hole has been off the hook. So I'm hearing nothing but good things from our running game right now. So that's going to be our best friend this year, and Clint Kubiak loves the run, so I think that could help us win some games this year.
So here's a question brought up by Raiders Unleashed, and you guys can answer it on your own too. Who was your biggest surprise player so far in the camp on offense? Wyatt, go ahead and let's what you got going on.
Well, if we're going into theme with the running backs, I actually do think that Mike Washington's a little bit of a surprise. Not saying that we didn't expect him to be good and like a useful fit for the Raiders, but I've been hearing comparisons that he's kind of like the next Darren McFadden in terms of like, intangibles and stuff like that. And, he's a big running back with size. He's 6'2", and he is fast for his size. And I think that complements Ashton Genty amazing. Like whether it's Thunder and Lightning, whatever, Sonic and Knuckles, that's the, nickname they had in Detroit. I don't know. They'll probably think of some type of nickname for these two, but I think Washington's going to get a lot more run than people may have expected due to how well he's looked in this Kubiak offense in training camp so far. And I think he's just going to be too efficient and explosive for the Raiders to kind of hold out of, getting touches. And even though Genty's going to get, 20 plus, rushes and receptions per game in total, Washington, he's going to get his fair share of, action on the field, I think. And obviously he was really good in Arkansas, but I think he's going to be a really, really good sleeper for this team this season.
And both have been doing really well catching the ball in the backfield too.
That's important. The Yeah, and being able to catch it in the backfield is going to be good. And comparing him to Darren McFadden, he's had 254 receptions and 2,114 receiving yards with 5 touchdowns as an NFL career. And he's been in the league. He was in the league 10 years. So in his 10 years, he actually racked up 5,421 rushing yards. So if we can be able to get Washington to be able to make those kind of numbers in a less amount of years, I think we'll be all right.
And let's not sleep on Dylan Labe either. He's been having a really good camp. The coaches have been real happy with his progression. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing his name a little more as well.
Right. All right. So who's your who's the biggest surprise player for you on offense, Chavez?
Surprise player, I
Yeah,
guess.
like
I guess. Now we've already talked about Malik Benson, so let's talk about
Right.
Burford starting at left guard. It seems like all the way through minicamp, he's been the guy they've been putting there as a starter. I guess he played pretty well last year with the San Francisco 49ers, and he's come in and done well to get the starting nod so far with the first string offensive line. So let's see if he can hold on to that job. Guys like that are going to push for it, but I think he's going to get first crack, and we'll see if he's the one starting the left guard in Miami. But they really like what they see from him. So I think that was a little surprise to me.
Burford's Spencer Burford. His stats are that he's had 38 starts in 56 games. From 22 to 25, he played with San Francisco 49ers, and signing a 1-year deal with us. His stats come in as, let me see. Yeah, like I said, 34 starts. He has been making a lot of noise there. I mean, there were a couple of beat reporters that were talking about how he's most likely not doing very. I mean, I heard the complete opposite, that he actually wasn't doing very. Not saying that he wasn't doing very well, but that it seems like once again that it's going to be more of a versatility type of thing to be able to move him around and him not necessarily be a starter every single game. I think that's what they were going on. Like, he most likely will start at the beginning of the season, but that he's most likely going to, get switched around a bit. But yeah, that's a good take on that one. I wish I could say that AOC was making noise, but I'm gonna just save that for another day. AOC, like that's my dude. You know what I'm saying? I got love for Aiden, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he does well. All right, so let's go into the defense a little bit right now. A lot of noise on the defensive side. DJ Glaze is actually still doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. JPJ is actually a surprise player as far as going for me on defense, because at first they were talking about
that's both those guys are offensive line.
Oh shit! Then I'm saying and I said defense too, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm over here off on anything else. All right. Well, tell me, like, who's standing out for you on defense there, Chavez?
Hezekiah Masses.
There you go.
has been I've been hearing his name almost every day, and a few of the beat writers questioned if he was going to keep up the physicality and playing well once they put on pads, and they've had pads for a few days in a row now, and they're still talking about him. So he's getting a shot with the first unit. He's kind of switching back and forth between the first and second, but he's getting a lot of looks with the first team corners, him and Gerald McCoy. So I think you're going to see a lot of that kid this year, and that's kind of been my standout and surprise so far with this training camp.
How do you feel about that, Wyatt?
Yeah, no, I mean, one thing that stands out to me as a Raiders fan is I definitely can see that, John Spytek, he did his homework this draft, because it seems like their late draft picks are the guys that are making the most noise in training camp so far, which is kind of crazy. But if you're hitting on 5th and 6th rounders, you're definitely doing something right as an organization. And, that kind of makes the guys they took higher in the draft and the veterans, it pushes them to be better. And, like Raider Chavez was saying, I mean, Massis, out of Berkeley. He looks really good so far on the outside as a cornerback. And that's something an area they definitely wanted to improve at. Obviously, Eric Stokes was good as a cornerback last year, but they didn't really have a reliable, second or third cornerback in that room.
Right.
They go out, they draft Traydon Stukes as a safety. You can also play a little bit of slot cornerback as well. And then later in the draft, Massis. I mean, it sounds like we're hearing nothing but good things from him in camp so far with his physicality and coverage skills. So, and I've also been hearing, this isn't a player, but the coach, the defensive coordinator, Rob Leonard, it sounds like he's really been putting in the work this offseason. And I've heard nothing but good things from him at camp so far. So if, the brains of the operation is kind of getting everyone together, all the players in the right positions and,
Right.
Playing who the best player is in certain spots, I think this defense is going to look really good on the field. And I'm really excited to see how it looks when week 1 comes around.
Hey, and Baltimore Ravens, Max Crosby is absolutely killing it at practice right now. He's back. He's back to wrecking practice. He's back to making it hell for the quarterbacks. You guys unleashed the beast. This dude's going to be hardcore this year. That knee doesn't look like it's bothering him one bit right now.
Oh no! During some of the videos that I saw when he was doing the sidestepping on, I mean, his momentum and fluid. It's just so fluid to be able to move the way that he does. You would have never thought that he had even had an injury with his knee. He's looking very, very dangerous out there. So yeah, that is a good statement to make. But going back to Hezekiah Massis, so he's impressed during the OTAs and minicamp, and then that continued and then he continued that momentum once training camp had started. With Jermod McCoy being eased back in after his ACL injury, do you think that Darian Porter has something to be worried about as far as his position goes?
I don't think he really has. I think as far as being a starter, maybe, but I've been hearing some good things about him as well. He's been playing well. I think he's still kind of learning that corner position because he was mainly a wide receiver in college. But I've been hearing good things about him. He's got the size, he's got the speed, so hopefully he has a place on this roster, but as of right now, I don't think he will be a starter on this team.
You're talking about Hezekiah Massis or Darian Porter?
Oh, Porter.
Porter. Okay, Porter.
Yeah.
So how much then should we read into Hezekiah Massis playing with the first team, getting first team reps? Like, how much should we look into that this early in the camp?
Go ahead, Wyatt.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's definitely something to look into because clearly the cornerback 2 position was unsettled going into the draft. And, that's why they drafted a couple guys in the secondary to kind of see if they could get someone to step up. And right now it sounds like Massis is the guy. Obviously McCoy has also looked really good in camp. And he was also the higher touted prospect coming into the draft, but he does have that knee concern, even though it sounds like it's been pretty good so far. He might be on a snap count this season. I'm not sure how that's going to look yet, but I am getting the idea that the 2 of them are going to be seeing the field a lot due to how well they've looked so far in camp.
Shout out to our girl Carmi Carm that's in the chat.
Oh yeah, Carmen's out there. Yeah, I just put her. Yeah, she just made a comment. Said Max is going to be going wild this season. All right, several defensive players have consistently stood out during Raiders training camp. If you were going to be building a team around one specific player on defense, Wyatt, who would you want to be sure to build a team around?
Oh, well, it's got to be Max Crosby. I mean, he's been the captain of the defense ever since he's pretty much been on the team. And, like we were saying, like he has additional incentive to perform this season to kind of prove not only the Baltimore Ravens wrong and their team doctors, but also just the NFL and put the NFL on notice. And there's one thing about Crosby. It's that he works harder than anyone. He's the most talented player on this defense. He can, carry people on his back. He is the leader of this defense, and ultimately the defense revolves around him, and he wants to win. He's expressed that. And now that he's back with the silver and black, I think this actually could end up being one of his best seasons, despite even the kind of knee concern so far. It sounds like he's ramping up, and I think he's going to be good to go this season, and we might even see the best season that Crosby's ever had in 26 here.
You know, I said career year for Brock Bowers. I could see a career year for Max Crosby this year. Maybe defensive player of the year.
Could be. How Chavez, how do you think with if to make that happen, do you think that Kwity Paye would be able to kind of not only encourage that, but be able to help with that if he starts playing as good as he's doing in training camp?
If anybody on the other side, Kwity Paye or Kuntz or anybody, can get some pressure on the quarterback, you know, that's going to take. They're not going to be able to triple team Max Crosby. I think they'll always try to double team him, but with us not having anybody on the other side making any noise or doing anything, they started triple teaming that guy. If you could take some pressure off of Max Crosby, he's going to just run havoc on whatever right tackles he plays this year. So, yes, we need a guy like Kwity Paye or something to get loose in the backfield and put some pressure on the quarterback so that Crosby doesn't have so many people blocking him at one time.
So because from what things are looking like, okay, so you got Max Crosby and Kwity Paye on the edge, Hezekiah Masses, corner. You got Dario Porter back there. How they were saying he's continuing to compete for the starting job outside the corner with his length and athleticism, has flashed in coverage. Who needs to have a better camp going into it, Porter or Hezekiah Masses? Why? What do you think?
I mean, it sounds like Massis is already kind of even outperforming what, you know, Raider fans expected him to do. So I don't necessarily think that either of them need to, like, you know, perform better. I think that they just need to, you know, show up every day like what they're doing and just kind of show what they can do. And I think it's up to the Raiders coaching staff to, you know, start and play who they think is most qualified to run and facilitate their systems on both offense and defense. But yeah, I guess in this case, Rob Leonard's defense.
And I mean, if you guys are familiar with with Rob Leonard's defense, I mean, who do you think has more a chance of being, you know, who do you think is going to be able to stand out more in this Rob Leonard's defense? Chavez, who do you think?
Everybody's going to have a chance. Since we've already brought up Max Crosby, I'm riding that Walker train this year. I've been telling you guys in our past podcasts that I see a big year coming from this guy. I could see him being a Pro Bowler this year. So I think he's going to get let loose in Rob Leonard's defense. This could be a big year for Walker at linebacker.
Who is that?
Kobe Dean. No, yeah. Kobe Dean's having a good camp too, but yeah. I just there's something about Walker. I'm riding that train this year.
Well, they're being looked at as like a potential, you know, major duo on the defensive side. Quay Walker and Kobe Dean seem to be a really good pickup for them. So, because with Walker, you know, he's flashing sideline to sideline range with his athleticism, working well alongside Dean. They seem to be doing well together. So, do Dean and Walker have the potential to become one of the AFC's best linebacker duos? Why? What do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. Like we've touched on before in previous videos, this is the most talented linebacking core that the Raiders have had in quite some time. And I think Dean's the more proven asset so far. I mean, you know, he's won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. But I think, you know, like Raider Chavez was saying, this could be a career season for Quay Walker. I think this is like he's literally in the midst of his prime. I believe he's 27. So, you know, this is if there's ever a time for him to break out, this is the perfect storm of, you know, factors coming in, you know, new coaching staff that benefits, you know, linebackers. Rob Leonard's going to change up looks on defense, different coverages, a lot of blitzing. So I think that's going to, you know, capitalize, you know, everyone's talents and Quay Walker specifically. So I do think that this could end up being a top linebacking duo in the division and perhaps even the conference or National Football League as a whole.
And Chavez, do you think that with that duo though, even though that they're bringing in Quay Walker, does Kobe Dean, is he going to become the leader that the defense has been missing at the linebacker position for this team?
Oh, absolutely. He's got the experience. He started a Super Bowl. I mean, he's the only question anybody's ever had about him is just staying healthy. So if he stays healthy, he's wearing the green dot and is probably one of the better middle linebackers we've had in a long time. And I liked Spillane that we had too, but I think Kobe Dean's a better linebacker.
Spillane, where did Spillane end up going? Or did they
Patriots.
he wanted to go to the Patriots? Wow. All right, let me see here. What's interesting about about the moves that they're making right now is that it just seems that everything that Kubiak and the coaching staff are doing is just everything seems to be very strategic. I feel really, really comfortable with what they're doing right now. It doesn't do. I mean, do you guys kind of feel like it's the same Raiders in the last 3 years? Like, I mean, has the doubt kind of subsided for you a little bit more this year with this coaching staff? Chavez, let me answer that one.
Absolutely,
First.
because for once it feels like everybody's on the same page from top to bottom. Last year already in camp, you could already start seeing that there was dysfunction going on, and people on the inside were talking about the dysfunction going on. There's no dysfunction this year. It's from top to bottom. Everybody's speaking the same thing and speaking the same message. And you look at the players they've brought in, the contracts they've signed this year. It looks like you're finally running as a good organization. We're sitting here talking today about surprises and draft picks and all this stuff. Look at the draft picks this year. The majority of them are making noise in camp right now. Right. These are all guys that can contribute this year. So I think Spytek was able to run the draft the way he wanted to this time. He didn't have Carroll getting in the way. You're going to have our defensive coordinator, Rob Leonard's going to be able to run his defense. Last year, Pete Carroll kept interfering with Patrick Graham. So defense was confused. The offensive line was confused. Nobody knew what they were doing out there. You're not seeing that this year. If you look from day one of camp to where they're at right now, it's been a well-oiled machine, the way they've run camp starting at 7:30 and ending it at 9:30. It's been consistent, precise, on time, and you're not seeing people confused and messing up out there. You're not hearing a whole lot about, oh, this looks really bad or this has been really bad. It's when there's been mistakes, you've heard it get corrected right after that. So I'm very, very positive at the direction this team's going. Does that mean we're going to go win a Super Bowl this year? Absolutely not. But it means we're going in the right direction. And I think Raider Nation has something to be excited about and something to look forward to this season.
And kind of piggybacking off of that, I mean, I want to ask Wyatt in that same sense. Wyatt, when you saw that, okay, obviously we got a new coordinators, Kubiak coming in as a new head coach, the players that we ended up drafting. When you knew from the beginning, is your feelings from the beginning up until now, is it the same as expected or exceeding your expectations?
I mean, the moment that the Raiders hired, Clint Kubiak, it's gone exactly how I was kind of, hoping it would go. It sounds like everybody's on the same page so far. Obviously, we'll see how that plays out. And, obviously as a Raiders fan, it does feel mandatory to exercise patience, to kind of see, okay, like, is our like preseason hype actually going to, unfold as in the season as it plays out? Because we don't want to get too excited because we've been burned so many times in the past. But it does seem like this Clint Kubiak hire was much different than other hires they've previously brought in. He's a first-time head coach, and they finally brought in that young, innovative offensive mind, which is something that I personally, Raiders fan, have been wanting to see them do for so long. I mean, they've gotten guys like, Pete Carroll, John Gruden, Josh McDaniels, guys that have had success in the NFL, but it wasn't like a young up-and-coming, head coach. Like, you look around the league, Sean McVay, he was a first-time head coach. Mike McDonald on the Seahawks, he was a first-time head coach. And, the guy on the Texans as well, Ryan. So it's like these young, innovative offensive minds. It's the future of the NFL. I think they connect best with the players. And I think the Raiders finally made the right choice and keeping the same GM and, defensive coordinator continuity from last year, Rob Leonard. He was the defensive line coach. Right. They have continuity, but also, young, innovative minds. Janoko as well, offensive coordinator. I think the blend of coaching is so much better than it was last season, and it actually makes sense. And we're hearing what it sounds like in training camp right now. It sounds like everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, and it definitely sounds like the coaches know what they're doing, even though that is going to be Kubiak's first year as a head coach and Rob Leonard's first season as a whole defensive coordinator, as far as just the line coach. So that is definitely going to be it's going to be great for everywhere all around to be able to know that they have success this season, which is ending with a winning season. That'd be great. I'm gonna say, I agree with patience, but I'm an old man now. We need this thing to start rolling, man. I can't be patient. I don't know. Wyatt's got his whole life ahead of him. I don't know how much longer I got, man. We need to start winning. Yeah, and see, and the stress goes from the bottom up. As you can see, I got my his grades on the bottom down here, and it's working its way up. So. All right, so Carmen was asked. She said that she wanted to know that we're all focused on starters, but I want to know what's going on with our secondary. So I'm going to run down the list real quick. As we talked about Hezekiah Masses, he earned first-team reps. He shows great instincts and confidence, taking advantage of Jermon McCoy being eased back into action. And he could force his way into a starting lineup if he keeps stacking up good practices, or at least that's what we expect. Eric Stokes has actually been making some noise as well. Looks like that the most established outside corner. Coaches have praised his consistency and leadership with younger defensive backs, which I think is going to be good. We have a good mixture of fourth and fifth year players, and then to be able to have some good veteran guys out there. That's actually really good to be able to teach them. Trayden Stukes, one of the most exciting rookies in the secondary, competing for his starting free safety job. His ball skills and range have coaches excited, and many believe that he has a real chance of being a starter by week 1. Do you guys agree with that, or?
It's possible.
Possible.
I think he's going to get a lot of playing time.
Jeremy Chin. Rob Leonard's aggressive defense is expected to play to Chin's strengths. So he's actually been stepping up and adapting to that very well. Look for him to blitz more, play in the box, and move around in formation. And he's expected to be one of the leaders of the secondary. And then there's Teron Johnson, the nickel cornerback. The veteran addition is expected to stabilize the slot. His tackling and experience have stood out. He brings leadership to a young defensive back room. And then obviously the ones that we're going to be looking out for, Darian Porter, Jermon McCoy, and then the veteran Isaiah Palomau, locked in a battle to keep his starting safety job with Trayden Stukes pushing hard for more snaps. So
with that, and with her question, that's a good segue into our favorite part of this show.
Hold on, I got to get that. Yeah. Oh, see, man. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Oh, I was just gonna get that started too. Here we go. All right, start that again.
So with what Izzy's talking about with the secondary and Carmen's question, it's a good segue into our favorite part of this show.
4th and Wyatt.
Trust me, I got this.
Yes. And our guy Wyatt is going to handle that. So Wyatt, what do you got for us today?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the secondary. Why not talk about, Teron Johnson, the nickel cornerback that the Raiders brought in? from Buffalo. He played 8 seasons with the Bills so far in his career. And I found interesting that Athlon Sports wrote an article about the Raiders, and it was titled, 3 veterans who can fix the Raiders defense. And who was at the top of that article? It was Teron Johnson. And he was the lone veteran added to the secondary. The Raiders acquired him via trade, which, saw them give up a 6th-round pick. Not a big deal for a guy that is a proven, secondary asset in this league. Johnson, so far, he has been taking snaps in the nickel slot corner position, whatever you want to call it. And what I also found interesting that he's also taking snaps at the safety position. So that's going to be interesting to see how his high-level versatility will help other players see the field, guys that we were just talking about. Other guys are going to get chances to play due to these different players' versatilities, and Teron Johnson's no less. He is a reliable open field tackler with zone awareness. And the Raiders, I think that they brought him in with the thought that, they're bringing in a guy that can force turnovers. The Raiders had 8 interceptions last season, and I found it kind of interesting that they've only had 97 interceptions over the past decade, which is actually the second fewest amount of picks in the NFL over that span. So the Raiders, they want to get more. They want to create more chaos on the back end of the defense this season, kind of, stabilize tackling receivers that do end up getting catches in or, trying to get their way to the end zone, kind of stabilize the middle of the field as well as, being a solid tackler and veteran presence in the locker room and on the field for the Raiders.
I absolutely love this guy, and I love that they're putting him at safety as well. I think this defense is going to people are going to have their positions, but I wouldn't get too stuck on them being in one spot at one time. I think they plan to move people around. I think you're going to see a lot of versatility and a lot of guys playing different positions to confuse the offense. So I like what they're doing with him, and I think they have some big plans. I was excited that that's who Wyatt wanted to do for 4th and Wyatt today.
So how much freedom will Leonard be giving him on the blitz, do you think, Wyatt?
Well, I mean, I think that the whole ultimate goal of bringing in Teron Johnson was kind of be a guy that can do the dirty work and kind of, make other people around him better, because with his versatility, that's going to allow Treydon Stukes to be able to play as much as possible. He was, I believe he played slot and safety as well at Arizona, but I think they ultimately view him as a safety. So it is going to be interesting to see how Rob Leonard utilizes these guys. But I do think that, having a veteran guy like this is going to be really good for the young guys, Dalton Johnson and Treydon Stukes, to be kind of a mentor to them, as well as make an impact on this Raiders football team.
And Rob Leonard has actually been able to, as you talked about, Rob Leonard, he's praised Johnson for his change in direction, instincts, vision, and awareness. With that being said, Chavez, I mean, does Taron Johnson's experience help accelerate the development of DBs like, Treydon Stukes and Hezekiah Masses?
Absolutely. I mean, it never hurts to learn from a veteran like him. So that's definitely going to help them out. It's going to show if a veteran can go out there and play a couple different positions, that they should be willing to go out there and do the same thing. So it's definitely a positive to have him and Eric Stokes in that secondary to help these guys out.
And so do you think that having a veteran slot corner will allow Max Crosby and Kwity Paye to get home more often because of quarterbacks have to hold on to the football?
And that's a key thing that I don't think we've talked about a lot either, is that if these guys do play well this year, that's going to give the defensive line time to get after that quarterback. So let's hope it all comes together.
What do you think about that? Why do you think Taron Johnson being out there, that is going to be opening it up for more of a chance to have the quarterback hold on to the ball and, Kwity and Max just rushing in there, just destroying these quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's two sides of the coin. I mean, like Raider Chavez just said, if the defense, the back end is holding up their end of the bargain, It's going to create, an easier life for the guys up front and vice versa. I mean, the guys up front, if they're able to, Crosby and Pay and the guys you just mentioned, if they're able to get pressure quickly, it's going to make it so that the secondary doesn't have to cover and hold down the fort for quite as long as they would if the Raiders were getting no pressure. So I really do like the blend of veterans and younger assets the Raiders have put together this season. It's going to be really fun to see how it all kind of comes together, because it does seem like the secondary has a lot of younger assets. And, the linebacking core has more experienced veterans and, the front seven as well. But I'm just really excited to see how it all kind of plays out.
So with your research on Taron Johnson and everything, is this the best defensive scheme Taron Johnson has played in since Buffalo?
I mean, Buffalo's had some good defenses over the years, so I don't want to, say that this is going to be his best chance at succeeding in the NFL. But I do think that this scheme, they looked at Taron Johnson and clearly they viewed him as a good scheme fit, because I believe they acquired him before the draft even. He was actually one of the first moves I think they made when Clint Kubiak was the head coach and Rob Leonard was deemed the defensive coordinator. It was a guy that they clearly wanted to get as soon as they possibly could. And I think that he fits this scheme perfectly for what Rob Leonard's trying to implement.
And Leonard, he like I was mentioning earlier about being able to have versatility in players. He definitely wants to be able to have versatility. Taron Johnson can cover he can cover receivers. He can blitz the quarterback. He can stop the run, as you can saw in the video that he has great open field tackling. Leonard has emphasized the versatility in the secondary because it lets him disguise looks before the snap. So he's going to be able to fit that perfectly. Even though the Raiders have a 3-4 base defense, NFL teams spend most time passing situations in the nickel. The Raiders have specifically pointed to Taron Johnson and Ricky Traden-Stukes as important pieces in those sub packages. So Taron Johnson he's gonna be able to just tear it up out there. I'm really looking forward to it. With that being said, I'll ask a question on this one. And Chavez, I'll start with you. What's more valuable in today's NFL, an elite shutdown outside corner or an elite nickel corner like Taron Johnson?
I definitely think you need both in this league now, but I'm old school. I still love that elite outside shutdown corner.
Right.
What do you think, Wyatt?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, having a guy that can shut down an opponent's X, I don't really think that it gets much, better than that from a defensive perspective. But yeah, I mean, they're both important. And I'm just glad that the Raiders have it seems like they've paid a lot of attention to that part of the team specifically. I mean, they took a safety in the second round. One of the first moves they made was getting, that slot cornerback position figured out. And they added some depth with Massis and, Stokes as well. He's back on the team. So I'm glad that they're paying attention to that part of the team because it's important to have in the NFL today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So true or false, Taron Johnson will be the Raiders' biggest defensive acquisition this season. Why?
I mean, well, I do think that he's going to be productive. It is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But if I had to name, a player that is going to be the biggest new player that they brought in, I do think that Quay Walker has the most upside in terms of all the players that they brought in because he is that sideline to sideline freak of nature type of linebacker the Raiders have not had for as long as I can remember. And I ultimately think he will end up being the biggest disruptor out of all the guys they brought in, but everybody's going to play their own role. And I think everybody is important and they're all going to play a vital role to having success this season for defense.
I mean, we definitely got a lot of good additions to the defensive side. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing how all these guys, Jeremy Chin, Taron Johnson. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're Kwity Paye, Quay Walker. That we seem to be really, really stacked. Chavez, which player has a better chance of leading the defense emotionally, Max Crosby or Taron Johnson?
Emotionally, we're talking about feelings now. Or,
Yeah, we're talking about feelings,
because
man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta have feelings in there, man.
I
Like
thought
a regular human.
I thought we just got rid of a member with too many feeling. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, well, you would think it would have to be Max Crosby. He's going to be the emotional leader, and not emotional more in like a pumped up, get everybody jacked up way.
Yeah, they talked a lot about him, even just in the OTAs when didn't even really need to be there, but he was there, and his presence really energized the defense, and not just the defense, but everyone all around, to know that with the injury that he has sustained, he was able to bounce back and just completely look like he never even suffered an injury. So, we're looking forward to that. All right, so I think that's gonna probably wrap it up for us. What do you guys think? You guys got anything else you want to talk
Good
about?
show.
All right, real quick. Let me get this one in. So August 13th, we're going to be at Shenanigans, 7431 Madison Avenue. I will be there in full effect as your DJ for the preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals. Raider Chavez, I think you said you'll be there a little bit later on if you can make it, but we're looking forward to it. So Raider Nation, come join us at Shenanigans. There's going to be good food, cold drinks, great atmosphere, and you can bring the kids. So saying that you don't have a babysitter is not going to be a good enough excuse for us that you didn't make it. But other than that,
We're back, season 3. Here we go.
That's right.
I heard my buddy Leo in one of his podcasts. The Pedal Raider podcast. You guys ever get on
Raider,
YouTube? Check that. Pedal Raider. Check it out. He has a really good podcast. But he was told he mentioned, because they were talking about our watch party coming up, and he said, if you haven't been to a Sacramento watch party, the Sacramento Black Hole watch party, then you haven't been to one yet. So if you haven't been, then you've never been. So you need to get to one of our watch parties this year. Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to Puerto Raider, and hey, shout out to Most Notorious and the Silver and Black Radio Podcast. We want to give a shout out to all the guys out there that definitely do that, and thank you, Leo. We appreciate that. Hopefully we'll see you at the next one. Other than that, though, we're going to go on ahead and wrap it up, as we covered as much as we possibly could with the offense and defense. As we had expectations, we had some surprises and some not so surprises, but we are definitely going to be looking into the season coming up. Season 3, baby, for the Black Hole and for us here on our first season on the Sack Blackout podcast. Any other last words you want to give, Wyatt, before we head out?
No, yeah, I'm absolutely stoked for this season to kick off.
All right. With that being said, on behalf of Raider Chavez and Wyatt Redding, remember to black out the noise. And as always, just win, baby.